Imagine standing before a locked door. Behind it is everything you've ever prayed for, your dreams, your calling, your breakthrough, but the door won't budge. You push, you knock, you plead, nothing. Then someone walks up beside you, smiles and says, "Say this 3 times and it will open." Would you say it? Would you believe it? My friends, tonight I want to tell you about 3 words. Words so powerful that when spoken in faith, they can open doors you never thought possible. Are you ready? Words are not just sounds that escape our lips. They are forces that shape our reality. Every word we speak carries weight, influence, and power. From the beginning of time, words have held the ability to create, transform, build, and even destroy. The universe itself was spoken into existence. In the book of Genesis, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He did not build the world with his hands. He formed it with his words. That is the power words hold. If the creator of the universe established the world through words, how much more should we understand the significance of what we speak? Words are seeds planted in the soil of our lives. What we say today grows into what we experience tomorrow. A person who speaks defeat, fear, and doubt will often live a life surrounded by those very things. But someone who speaks faith, victory, and truth will walk in the fruit of those words. History is filled with examples of words shaping destinies. Leaders have rallied nations with words of hope. Families have been torn apart by words of anger. A single sentence can heal a heart or break it. Words have the power to bring peace in the midst of war, to encourage the weary, to lift up the brokenhearted, and to give strength to those who are ready to give up. The right words, spoken at the right time, can change the course of a life forever. Even science acknowledges the power of words. Studies have shown that what we say affects not only our emotions, but also our physical health. Words of gratitude and positivity can improve well-being, while negative words can increase stress and weaken the body. What we constantly speak becomes a part of us, influencing our mindset and actions. But there is something even greater than just positive words. Words spoken in faith. Faithful words have the power to unlock doors, move mountains, and bring the impossible into reality. The Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. This means that with our words, we either align ourselves with life, hope, and God's promises, or we align ourselves with defeat and despair. Some may say, "But I have spoken good words before and nothing happened." The difference is not just in speaking, but in believing. Words without faith are like empty echoes. But words filled with faith release power. When Jesus stood before the tomb of Lazarus, he didn't just say, "Come out," as a casual statement. He spoke with the authority of faith, knowing that his words carried power, and the dead man walked out. What we say matters. If we truly understood the weight of our words, we would be more careful with what we say. Instead of speaking fear, we would speak faith. Instead of speaking defeat, we would declare victory. Because when we align our words with truth, we unlock the doors that lead to transformation. Faith and belief are the foundation of everything we hope for and the key to unlocking doors that seem impossible to open. They are not just ideas or emotions. They are forces that shape the direction of our lives. Faith is the confidence that what we cannot see is still real, that what has not yet happened will come to pass. It is believing in the unseen, trusting in the unknown, and standing firm even when everything around us says otherwise. True faith is not based on feelings or circumstances. Feelings change, circumstances shift, but faith remains steady. It is easy to believe when life is good, when doors are opening, and when prayers are being answered. But real faith is tested in the waiting, in the silence, in the moments when nothing seems to be working out. It is in those moments that faith becomes more than a word. It becomes a decision to trust, to believe, and to keep moving forward, even when there is no visible evidence of change. Faith is powerful because it connects us to something greater than ourselves. It is not wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is the deep assurance that there is a purpose, a plan, and a promise that will be fulfilled. The greatest examples of faith in history come from those who believed against all odds. Abraham believed he would be the father of nations, even when he and his wife were too old to have children. Noah built an ark before the first drop of rain fell. David stood before Goliath not because he was the strongest, but because he had faith that the battle was already won. Belief is the engine that drives faith. It is one thing to say, "I have faith," but another to truly believe in what you declare. Many people claim to have faith, yet their hearts are filled with doubt. They say they trust, but their actions reveal fear. True belief is unwavering. It does not hesitate, it does not question, it does not retreat. When we truly believe, we stop looking at the obstacles and start looking at the possibilities. Faith is also active. It requires movement. It is not simply waiting for things to happen. It is stepping forward with the assurance that they will. The Israelites did not see the Red Sea part before they stepped into it. Peter did not walk on water while standing in the boat. It was the act of stepping out, the act of moving in faith that brought the miracle. Faith and belief go hand in hand. One cannot exist without the other. It is faith that gives us the courage to believe, and belief that gives us the strength to act. When we align our hearts with unwavering belief, doors that seemed forever locked begin to open. The impossible becomes possible. The unseen becomes reality. Because faith is not just hoping, it is knowing. It is the absolute certainty that what has been promised will come to pass no matter how long it takes. The words we speak shape our lives, our relationships, and even our destiny. Every word carries meaning, energy, and influence. The difference between success and failure, hope and despair, life and death, often lies in the words we choose to say. The right words have the power to uplift, encourage, and transform, while the wrong words can tear down, destroy, and limit. Throughout history, we see how words have shaped nations, movements, and individual lives. A leader can inspire a generation with a single speech. A mother's words can instill confidence in her child. A simple phrase of encouragement can turn someone's darkest moment into a new beginning. But just as positive words have power, negative words can leave deep scars. A careless comment can break a spirit. Words of doubt can steal a person's dreams. The wrong words spoken at the wrong time can close doors that were meant to open. It is not just about speaking words, but speaking the right words. Words filled with faith, truth, and purpose carry weight in the spiritual and natural world. When we align our words with what is right, good, and true, they become powerful tools to bring about change. But when we speak words of fear, negativity, or deception, we reinforce barriers that hold us back. The Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. This means that what we say has a direct impact on our lives. If we constantly speak defeat, we will live in defeat. If we declare doubt, we will struggle with uncertainty. But if we speak life, we will see doors open that once seemed impossible to enter. When we declare faith, we strengthen our belief. When we speak with conviction, we create momentum toward our purpose. The right words are not just about positive thinking, they are about truth. Saying empty, feel-good phrases with no belief behind them does not change anything. But when words are spoken with faith and backed by action, they carry power. Jesus did not just speak words. He spoke words of authority. When he commanded the storm to be still, it obeyed. When he called Lazarus from the grave, life returned to the dead man's body. His words carried power because they were aligned with divine truth. In our daily lives, the words we choose to speak can either open or close doors. When faced with challenges, do we say, "This is impossible," or do we declare, "With God all things are possible"? Psalm, when we stand before opportunities, do we shrink back with words of fear, or do we step forward in confidence? The right words, spoken at the right time, can unlock blessings, shift atmospheres, and create breakthroughs. It is not enough to think the right thoughts, we must speak them. Speaking truth, faith, and hope consistently can change the course of our lives. Words are more than just sounds, they are seeds planted into our future. And when we choose the right words, we position ourselves for doors to open in ways we never imagined. Obedience and action are the keys that turn faith into reality. Many people believe, many people pray, and many people speak words of faith, but only those who act in obedience see the doors open before them. Faith without action is like a key that is never used. It holds potential but never unlocks anything. True belief is always followed by movement, by a step forward, even when the path is uncertain. Obedience is not always easy. It often requires sacrifice, discipline, and trust in something greater than ourselves. It means following instructions even when they do not make sense. The greatest breakthroughs in history came not just from people who believed, but from those who obeyed. When Noah was told to build an ark, he didn't just believe it was a good idea. He picked up a hammer and started building. When Moses stood before the Red Sea, he didn't just hope for a way out. He stretched his hand over the water in obedience to God's command. Many people stand before closed doors, waiting for them to open, but they are unwilling to take the step of obedience that will unlock them. They pray for financial provision, but do not manage their resources wisely. They ask for healing, but do not take care of their bodies. They seek opportunities, but do not prepare themselves for when those opportunities arrive. Obedience is not just about hearing, it is about doing. It is about aligning our actions with what we claim to believe. Obedience often requires stepping out before the outcome is clear. When Peter saw Jesus walking on the water, he could have stayed in the boat, waiting for proof that he would not sink, but faith required action. When Jesus told him to come, Peter stepped out. The water did not turn to solid ground before his feet touched it. It happened as he walked. Many times people want to see results before they take action. But true obedience means moving forward even when the outcome is unseen. Action is the proof of faith. The walls of Jericho did not fall because the Israelites merely believed they would. They fell because the people marched in obedience even when their actions seemed foolish. They walked, they obeyed, and then the miracle happened. The same is true in life. Obedience brings breakthrough. It is not enough to wish for success, for change, or for answered prayers. Movement is required. Delayed obedience is often disobedience. Many people know what they need to do, but hesitate, waiting for a better time, a clearer sign, or a safer path. But obedience requires trust. It requires stepping forward even when fear whispers, wait. It requires following through even when doubt says, are you sure? Every open door requires a step. Every breakthrough requires an action. In the end, it is not just faith, not just words, but the combination of obedience and action that brings the impossible into reality. When we move forward in faith, trusting and obeying, we position ourselves to see doors open in ways we never imagined. God's timing and will are often mysteries to us, yet they are perfect in every way. We live in a world that demands instant results, fast answers, immediate breakthroughs, and quick success. But God does not operate on human schedules. His plans unfold according to His perfect timing, not our impatient desires. When we understand this, we stop striving to force doors open and start trusting that He will open them at the right moment. One of the greatest struggles people face is waiting. Waiting for healing, waiting for provision, waiting for an answer to prayer. It is in the waiting that faith is tested the most. We often ask, why is this taking so long? Why hasn't God answered me yet? But what seems like a delay to us is often God working behind the scenes, preparing us for what is to come. A door that opens too soon can be just as dangerous as a door that never opens. God's will is always good, even when we do not understand it. There are times when we pray for something, expecting an immediate yes, but instead we receive silence or even a no. In those moments, it is easy to question whether God is listening or whether He cares. But hindsight often reveals what we could not see at the time. He was protecting us, guiding us, and preparing something far greater than we had imagined. Consider Joseph, who had a dream that he would be a great leader. Yet instead of rising to power immediately, he was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into prison. It must have seemed as if God had forgotten him, but in reality, every step of his journey was leading him toward his destiny. If Joseph had gone straight from being a shepherd to a ruler, he would not have been ready for the responsibility. The waiting, the trials, and even the suffering were part of God's divine process. When the right moment came, the doors opened, and Joseph stepped into the position he was always meant to hold. We must remember that God sees the full picture. We see only a small piece of the puzzle, but He sees the entire design. A delay is not a denial. A closed door is not rejection, it is redirection. What seems like a setback is often preparation for a greater comeback. Trusting in God's timing requires surrender. It means letting go of our own plans and embracing His, even when they don't make sense. It means understanding that His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are beyond our understanding. When we fully trust Him, we stop pushing against closed doors and start walking in faith, knowing that at the right time, in the right way, His will shall be done. No matter how long it takes, no matter how uncertain the path may seem, one thing is always true. When the time is right, the doors will open, and nothing can stop what God has planned. Surrender is the ultimate key to unlocking the fullness of life. It is the act of letting go, releasing control, and trusting in a higher power. Many people struggle with surrender because it feels like weakness, like giving up. But true surrender is not about quitting. It is about entrusting our lives to the one who knows all things, sees all things, and holds all things together. It is not about losing. It is about gaining something far greater than we could ever achieve on our own. We often fight for control, trying to manipulate circumstances, force outcomes, and make things happen in our own strength. But the more we strive, the more frustrated we become. The doors that are meant to open remain shut, and the harder we push, the more resistance we face. This is because life was never meant to be lived in our own power. We were created to walk in alignment with a greater purpose, and that purpose can only be fulfilled when we surrender. Surrender requires trust. It means believing that even when things do not go according to our plans, they are still going according to a higher plan. It means understanding that delays are not defeats, that closed doors are sometimes divine protection, and that what we think we need may not be what is truly best for us. When we surrender, we shift from struggling to trusting, from anxiety to peace, from fear to faith. One of the greatest examples of surrender is seen in Jesus. The night before His crucifixion, He prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." He had the power to escape suffering, the authority to command angels to rescue Him, yet He surrendered to a greater purpose. That act of surrender led to the greatest victory in history, salvation for all mankind. If Jesus Himself showed us that surrender leads to glory, how much more should we learn to trust in the process? Surrender is not passive, it is active. It does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means aligning our will with God's, following His direction and allowing Him to lead. It is saying, I release my worries, my fears, my plans, and my timing, because I know that what you have for me is far greater than what I could ever create for myself. It is walking in faith, even when the path is unclear, because we trust the one who holds our future. The moment we surrender, things begin to shift. We stop forcing things that are not meant for us, and we start stepping into doors that were always ours. We stop carrying burdens that were never meant for us to bear. We find peace in knowing that we don't have to figure everything out. We just have to trust the one who already has. When we surrender, we gain freedom. Freedom from stress, from worry, from striving. We step into a life of purpose, joy, and divine guidance. And in that surrender, we find the ultimate key that opens every door meant for us. In the journey of life, doors will open and doors will close. Some will seem impossible to unlock, while others will open with ease. But the key to every door lies not in striving, not in fear, and not in control, but in the power of words, faith, obedience, trust in God's timing, and ultimately, surrender. The words we speak shape our reality. Faith and belief give us the courage to step forward. Obedience and action turn our faith into movement. Trusting in God's timing teaches us patience and confidence in His perfect plan. And surrender releases us from the burden of control, allowing us to walk freely in the purpose designed for us. Doors do not open through force or manipulation. They open through alignment with divine truth. When we speak life, move in faith, obey without hesitation, trust without doubt, and surrender without fear, we position ourselves for breakthrough. What once seemed impossible becomes possible. What once felt distant is brought near. So as you stand before the doors of your life, remember this: speak words of life, believe without wavering, obey without delay, trust in His timing, and surrender completely. When you do, you will find that the doors meant for you will open, and no force on earth will be able to keep them shut.